Welcome you all to Believers IAS Academy. In this today's particular video, we will be discussing about volcanoes. Of course, we will not go too much in detail as to what volcanoes are, but we will be discussing about the present, volcanic eruption which is in news, especially the Kilauea volcanic eruptions, right? And this is not the very first time that this eruptions has happened. In fact, this particular eruption is currently the 31st volcanic eruption ever since December, right in the same, Kilauea volcano. And where is it located? It is located in the Hawaii region, and it is considered to be one of the world's most active volcanoes and has started erupting again. As I already discussed, it is currently the 31st volcanic eruptions that took place ever since last December. So the location, it is located in the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the big island. Kilauea is a shield type volcano. That is also another important thing to keep in mind, because we have different types of volcanoes, composite volcanoes, various such volcanoes which we will discuss in the further slides. So Kilauea volcano is that type of a volcano which is the shield type of volcano and has erupted more than 30 times since 1952, which makes it also important to understand that this is the most recurring volcano, and with its most recent continuous eruption lasting from 1983 to 2018. Now coming to the main picture as to what this Kilauea volcano or this particular volcano is all about. The location, as we have already discussed, this is in the Hawaii island of the USA, and what is the height? It is roughly 44,090 feet, which is around 1,250 meters. Of course, these many or all this factual data are not required for the UPSC examination, but it is good to know. Now coming to the type of volcano, it is a shield volcano. And what are the basic characteristic feature of a shield volcano? That the volcano is not steep, but it is broad, dome shaped, and has a dome shaped structure. Now the activity of this particular Kilauea volcano, it is a very frequently erupting volcano. It is a non-explosive erosion non-explosive eruptive kind of a volcano. But one key specific feature of this year's volcanic eruption related to Kilauea volcano is that this time it has erupted so badly that it is pretty much like a fountain. Okay, if you have seen the videos on various social media, you can see, although shield volcanic mountains has this unique special character that it is generally non-explosive in nature, but this was an exception because of its this year's nature, where it has been it is erupting like a water fountain. So this is one special uniqueness this time, and this particular uniqueness is the very first time ever since 1980s, right? Ever since 1980s, this volcanic eruption or this volcanic island is pretty much active. But this is the very first instance that they are seeing such violent eruptions of the lava, right? And coming to the geological relations, its slopes merges with Mauna Loa. This is another volcanic mountain, and this is also another massive shield volcano. As we discussed, this Mauna Loa, this is also situated in Hawaii, and also this is another shield volcano. And talking about its geological relation, its slopes merge with, as in the slope of this Kilauea volcanic mountain merges with the Mauna Loa volcanic mountain. Now what is a volcano in general? In general, if you have to understand what volcanoes are. What is a volcano? It is a vent or a gap or a crack on the earth's crust, right? On the earth's surface, through which various gases and even your molten lava and even ash, dust, etc. comes out, right? So this particular volcano, in general, we considered that this is an endogenic process we have two different processes of land formation. One is endogenic and exogenic. So volcano is a part of the endogenic process where it is an activity where the gases, various gases, sulfur dioxide, right, various gases, especially even the molten lava, ashes and dust, comes out of the earth's surface through a vent or a gap or a crack. So this is what volcano is, and the near consequence of a volcano is the formation of various landforms, and this particular landforms can be classified into two different categories once again, based on where the landforms is created. One is endomorphic, next is extremorphic. So endomorphic usually is bacoliths, laccoliths, and the extremorphic extrusive, intrusive. Extrusive, intrusive. Welcome you all to Believers IAS Academy. In this today's particular video, we will be discussing about volcanoes, of course in brief, but also the matter of this particular video is to discuss about the recent volcanic eruptions, especially in the Kilauea volcanoes of the Hawaii region, which is situated in the US. So talking about this particular volcanic eruption, it is considered to be the world's most active volcanoes, especially in the Hawaii region of the USA. And another important thing to keep in mind that this particular volcano has erupted more than 30 times ever since 1952, with its most recent continuous eruption lasting from 1983 to all the way 2018. And also the present eruption that is taking place is currently the 31st eruption ever since it started erupting in the month of December. Makes it pretty obvious to understand this is the most active volcano, and we had this volcano erupting even in January, December also, right? So Kilauea volcano in the Hawaii region of the USA. Even this could be very important for the prelims map based question, and also UPSC's has been asking questions based on volcanoes every year in their preliminary examination. And also this is most probable and one of the topics under the physical geography, even in the mains syllabus also. So considering the importance, it is important to understand what volcanoes are in general, and also to know about certain active volcanoes in and around the world. Now understanding slightly more about the Kilauea volcanoes, we'll just discuss few important things. Of course not important from the exam point of view, it is not required, but for just basic understanding it is good to know. So the location, as we discussed, it is situated in the Hawaii Islands of the USA. And what is the height? It is roughly about 1250 meters. And what kind of volcano is it? Because we have different types of volcano based on the structure. So this is a shield volcano. So shield volcano, what are the basic characteristics? It is broad, dome shaped, as in the volcano is not conical, it's not steep, rather the volcano is dome shaped, as in it's very broad, the base is broad, and also it is dome shaped structure. And talking about the volcanic activity, the eruption activity, it is a frequent volcanic erupting volcano. However, it is classified as a non-explosive eruptions or erupting volcano ever since it started erupting. But one unique feature this time is that we have seen that the volcano, especially if you have watched in various videos, we can see that this particular volcanic eruption in the Kilauea volcano this time has been very aggressive, right? So we have seen fountain like picture where the volcano is like literally oozing out. So the volcano is very aggressive, pretty much opposite to its very contradictory to its basic feature, because shield volcanic mountains usually does not have explosive eruptions, but this is the first instance ever since 1980s that we are observing in the Kilauea volcano that the eruptions are pretty violent this time, right? So that is one of the interesting feature this time. And talking about the geological relationships, the slopes of this particular Kilauea volcanic mountain, they actually merge with another shield volcanic mountain, which is the Mauna Loa, which is also important, and this is also another volcanic mountain, another shield volcano, right? Now understanding what volcanoes are, that is also very important. So let's briefly understand what volcano is. So basically it is an endogenic process. We have different types of processes, endogenic and the exogenic, depending on considering the landforms, right? So volcano is an endogenic process where the various materials like ashes, your dust, lava, and even many gases like sulfuric acids and many such things comes out of the earth's crust through a crack or a gap or even a hole, right? So the earth's crust will have vents through which the molten magma comes out, right? So this is basically what volcanoes are. It is that crack of or let's say it is a crack on the earth's crust through which ashes, dust, lava, and even various gases and even etc. This is not the only limitation, etc. Many of the things which comes out of the earth's crust, and this is an endogenic process. And also it is important to understand the consequence of volcano. So this usually paves way to create various landforms. And talking about the landforms, we have two types: intrusive, depending on where the landform development happens, intrusive and extrusive. So extrusive, the simple examples are the mountains, right? The lava that comes out of the volcanoes either can create mountains, and if the volcanic eruptions are not very aggressive and if it is very smooth, it can even form plateaus, right? And the intrusive landforms are bacoliths and laccoliths, which we have studied. So this is just a basic understanding as to what a volcano is. Of course, you have to go pretty much in detail from the examination point of view, but for the video we will just stick to what the particular volcano that we are discussing about, the Kilauea volcanoes, right? And also now, what are the different types of volcanoes? We just discussed very very much in brief. Now just let's try and understand what the different types of volcanoes are very much in brief once again. So first one is the shield volcanoes. What are the basic characteristic features? They are broad in nature, gently sloping, mostly basaltic lava. Examples are Kilauea Mountains, Mauna Loa, and Barren Islands, India. So basically this is one of the active islands in India. It is situated or located in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the Barren Island. And Barren Island is an example of shield volcanoes. Then we have composite or stratovolcanoes, where the characteristic feature is it is a steep volcano. The volcano is steep, conical in shape, and alternate layers of ash and lava, explosive eruptions. Another key feature of these kind of composite volcanoes are that the eruptions are explosive, very high. It is like fountain natured. What are the example? Mount Fuji in Japan and Mount St. Helens in USA. Then we have cinder cone volcanoes, which is a volcano which is kind of very small, steep sided, built from volcanic debris. But the eruptions, talking about the eruptions are not very explosive, but they are short lived, right? Example, Paricutem, Mexico. And then we have caldera. Basically, caldera is one of the landforms created by volcanoes itself. So they are large depressions formed after massive eruptions. Example, Yellowstone in USA. Of course, we are going very much in brief here. We just have to understand the different types of volcanoes. Even if you can remember the names, that is more than sufficient. And then we have submarine volcanoes, which are usually found under the oceans. Example is Lohi, which is near the Hawaii once again. And then we have the fissure eruptions, where the lava erupts through cracks, especially the example is Deccan troughs. Of course, these two are, it's good to know, not required for the examination point of view to know, but it is good to know. Now, this is the pictographical representation of the different types of volcano. This is the Mauna Loa, Hawaii. Example for shield volcano, as we discussed. The base is broader. It is not, the steep is not too much, right? It's a very small steep. Plus, it is not conical, right? Fluid lava flow. And then we have the composite volcanoes. What are the key characteristic feature? It is steep, symmetrical, means whatever the this side is almost same to the other side. That is what symmetrical is. And it is explosive. The volcanic eruptions are explosive in nature. Example, Mayon, Philippines. Then we have lava domes. This is also another type of volcanoes with steep sides, oozes viscous lava. So this is another example. The example is Showa, Xinjiang. And then we have cinder volcanoes, where it is the smallest volcano. The volcano characteristic feature is it is smallest and also has a single vent through which the molten magma comes out, and it erupts cinders, ash and rocks. What is the example? Sunset Crater, Arizona. Of course, these examples are very random. Only thing to keep in mind is the important volcanic eruptions that are presently happening, and any active volcanoes present in India. And one example we have already discussed, the Barren Islands in Andaman Nicobar, and that is all. Plus the core concept as to what volcanoes are, from the static point of geography, is what is important. Now, once again, with respect to shield volcano, since this particular Kilauea volcano is a shield volcano, we have to try and understand some of the key features also. So, as we already discussed, it is largest volcanoes on earth. The shield volcanoes are the largest volcanoes on the earth. Once again, the same features, the broad structure and also gentle slopes. It is composed mainly of fluid basaltic lava. This is also important. And the eruptions are low in explosivity unless water enters the vent. So this is not a full-time case where that the explosions, the volcanic eruptions are always low explosive. No, not necessary. Unless water enters. So if the water enters, there are chances that the eruptions could be very explosive, and probably that might have been the case, which we are currently seeing in the Kilauea volcanic island. Then it forms lava plateaus over repeated eruptions across millions of years. So that's what we discussed as a part of landform formation. It creates plateaus, and this is one of the example. Since usually the eruptions are not too explosive in nature. The erosion, the eruptions are pretty mild and not explosive. The near formation or the most expected formation is the lava plateaus. Now, what are the examples? Kilauea and the Mauna Loa mountains in Hawaii, and Barren Islands, India's only active volcano. So even Barren Island is also an example of the shield volcano, and this is the only active volcano in India. So this is the diagram of the shield volcano. I think you can see it is it is a broad volcano as compared to your other volcano. The name is the composite, yes, as compared to your composite volcano, which is steep. The shield volcano, it is broad, and it has gentle slopes, and eruptions are not explosive in nature, but usually it is less explosive. And this is the example of Mauna Loa, right? And what is the width of the entire base, it is around 180 kilometer wide. So you can understand how big the volcanic the volcanic mountain can look like. Anyway, that's all for today's video. So even before we end the particular video, let's solve one prelims question. Which of the following statements about shield volcanoes is or are correct? First one, they are built mainly of basaltic lava. Second one, they have steep sides due to rapid cooling of lava. And third statement, their eruptions are generally less explosive. Now, correct the right options. Option A, B, C, D. So please use the comment section to leave your answers. I hope you liked the video. That is all for today. Signing off. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.